Hi, and welcome to HUR at Home. I'm your host, Angela Striblin. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well because you're about to get cheered up even more. We've got a great show planned for you this evening. Actually, we always do. You can always go to WHUR.com and find out our HUR at Home lineup. I am such a fan of the TV show Power, and I know that you are too. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to say it's a guilty pleasure. It is just a pleasure. Well, tonight we're going to talk to someone who is very integral to that show. He's the showrunner, and his name is Gary Lennon. We're going to talk to him in just a few minutes. We'll also be joined by Steve Harvey's stylist, actually from Paris to Steve Harvey's stylist. His name is Elly Karamoh, and I hope I'm saying his name properly. He's going to correct me if I'm not. And you know my favorite, I love Derrick Rutledge so much. And Derrick Rutledge, celebrity stylist, celebrity makeup artist rather. And he is Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist, and he is a friend to the show. So we try to get him back here at least once a month. He's going to join us as well. So let's get this party started. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gary Lennon. I hear them clapping, Gary. I hear them clapping. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you're here. I mean, just the whole climate today in the country is a little crazy. Did you watch the
Yes,
presidential debate last night?
I did. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yes.
it was
And we need a
crazy. I
big.
woke up with a headache.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know what? Let's not even talk about that. Let's talk about something a lot brighter. I was just doing my research about you, and I love what led you to writing and what you're doing today. So, of course, we want to hear all about power and your relationship with power, but give us a little bit of your backstory. How did you even discover that you're a writer? You started off trying to be an actor,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't come to the medium your traditional way. My parents, my mom had two children by the time she was 14, and she had an eighth grade education herself. And both of my parents were dead by the time I was 12. And
Wow.
I had an older brother. I had two older brothers that I lived with. They were only like one was 21 and one was 17 or something. But anyway, long story short is I thought I wanted to be an actor, and I studied acting, and I wasn't getting any gigs, and I was a waiter, and I started writing. I got sober when I was very young, when I was 24. And I started writing really about my life experience, and I hand wrote a series of monologues about alcoholism, pretty much. And I got sober, as I said, and my family were full of addicts. And it was a play called Blackout, which you can read, and it's published by Samuel French. And I was very lucky. I actually was in it myself. I was in the play as well. And that little play that gave me a career that I didn't know what I was doing actually yet, but I was in a lot of pain. And I think a lot of writing comes from uh, pain. It's a great way to
Yeah.
access your damage and then use it and make it into, turn it into art. Um,
Yeah, I get that. I could appreciate that because they say write about what you know, right? I
yes.
mean, this is your life. And to be able to actually tell the truth about what your history was, because a lot of people probably won't do it because they're ashamed or,
Yeah.
just can't get it out there. So good
Yeah.
for you.
I encourage every writer, actor, director, producer out there is actually embrace your mess. Embrace the things that you think that you might be ashamed of, because in fact, they're the things that separate you from everybody else and will make us on the other side want to hire you.
Yeah,
Um, I think that that's your oddities are your strength.
I love that. So how do you and Power get together?
Yeah, very lucky. They say that, that nothing happens by an accident. And I had just worked with Eileen Chaikin on Black Box, who ran Empire. And Courtney, I've obviously, created Power. And I was offered both jobs, and I took Power because I related it to it more. And it it's interesting. You would think like, what do I have to do with relating to power? But in fact, I sort of know that world very well. As I mentioned, I was on my own since I'm 16, 17 years old, and I know the street well. And when I saw the pilot of Power, I really identified with Tommy, the character of Tommy, because one of my brothers was very much like a Tommy character and had spent time in prison and blah, blah, blah. And so when I met with Courtney, we immediately, just jived. She was telling me where she wanted the show to go. I told her how I responded to it. And, my backstory, Courtney went to Brown University. She has an incredible education and she's incredibly well read. And I literally come from, Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan, New York, the street. And so I was able to bring a flavor that she was craving. And I loved all the writers. I'm very close with all the writers still to this day. And I was just very lucky and fortunate to be in that room when we were really making the seasons and putting it all together. And we all contributed a great deal of our own personal lives to those stories that you saw.
It's such a powerful show. I mean, once you see the first one, you're just drawn in. And I remember people were saying, "Oh my gosh, Angela, you got to check out Power. You got to check out Power." And I didn't. It took me a while. I was watching. I kind of felt like I had to choose between Empire and Power. And I was into Empire for a while. And then I was like, you know what? Let me just check it out and, just see what this, what all the hype is all about. And so I did. And once I checked it out, I binge watched. I had to definitely just, it was my thing. This was my thing. It's like, you know where to find me. But what is it about that show that makes it so magical? Why do you think so many people got so hooked on it?
I think it had an inherent great recipe for television, which is it was, I love that it was a story it was an aspirational story about a drug dealer. We used to call it Breaking Good because actually it's about.
I like that. Right? Yes, yeah. It's appropriate.
Yeah. Ghost is a character who wants to get out of the drug game and be legit and be in the club world. And obviously his old ex-lover, Angela, he had no idea in the pilot. She was actually looking for the drug dealer Ghost. And he was with Notori, who was fantastic. And I think that the show Power has a recipe that a lot of people love on TV, which is it had a love triangle. It had aspirational, for the characters to go somewhere. And we had obviously crime, violence, sex, which is always a good thing on television.
It's a great combination. Definitely a great formula. And even as the show is
abundance of secrets, because when you have one person.
Oh, I don't know what's happening. It's going on and off. Okay, you're back. I don't hear you though. Are you able to hear me? Okay, there you are. You're back.
I can hear you and see you. Yeah, can you?
Oh, now I can hear you. It's a little bit glitchy. That's
the other thing was. Also, Courtney was very smart, and so was 50, and so was Lee Daniels, in order the idea that I love seeing stories about people that don't usually see themselves on screen. And I think Power did that for a large group of people.
Yeah.
And that's what was so exciting about the show to me personally.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, you're right. I mean, for all the reasons that you just mentioned. Oh, and you're getting a lot of love here. Isabella says hello from Dubai. And okay, we've got a lot of comments here. Everyone is into it. Carl says, hey. Jonathan says, hi. Thank you. I'm sure these are all Power watchers. We've been talking about you all week on WHUR. So you were talking about writing and, how you approach it and how that pretty much allowed you this entree. What do you say to actors who might want to get on a show like Power?
Yeah, I recommend that if you're a writer out there or a producer, or a director, I feel like the best way to enter the TV game is to write a pilot script that is undeniable, which means that when I open from page one, I just cannot wait to get through the whole thing because I'm enjoying it. Make it unique. And I also personally think that if you give me a little bit of you, what we're craving as buyers is you. And so don't hide yourself, you know, really dig in. And if you write something that's truthful, it will be universal because we'll spot the truth and that will make us like, that means if you write a pilot that's about NASCAR, if you write a pilot that's about a bakery, as long as it's honest and truthful and specific, we're going to pick up on it universally and
I love that.
want to meet you.
Yeah, I love that. And just like what you were saying, you know, with the writing initially, just, you know, you were saying that you told your truth and that was magical. I mean, no one can tell your story, warts and all, better than you. And that applies to everybody. I love that. And if you can just stand in one spot, it'll stop glitching like that. I know you're trying to find the sweet spot there. That's perfect right there, right there.
There you go. I'm going to stand right here.
Stand right there. Boy, that's so good. So what's next? I mean, are you working on this new, I'm watching this new, what is it, Ghost Power 2? Are you involved with that one as well?
Yeah. No, actually, I'm not. I'm doing another show called Hightown for Stars, which we had our first season and did very well. And we're starting to shoot our second season, actually October 19th. So I'm doing Hightown second season.
And there's another show that you're working on. There's Hightown
Yeah,
and
P Valley.
Euphoria.
P Valley.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
you too?
Well, I'm a consulting producer on P Valley. Yeah.
That's amazing. You pick some winners. Yes. Well, Gary, thank you so much. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate the time and the information. Are you on social media?
I am Gary Lennon on Instagram, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's all you need. You're on IG. So it's just Gary Lennon, Lennon. Awesome. I'm going to follow you.
That's
Follow me
correct.
back, okay?
Please do. I will. Very nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. And before we let you go, I want you to meet someone. Our next guest is, oh my gosh, he's a millennial and he has such an old soul, if you will. I mean, he's classic. He's Steve Harvey's stylist and Steve Harvey of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. And I hope he's here. You know, he's probably hanging out backstage. But if he is here, come on, Elly Karamoh. Say hello. Is Elly here? Okay, well, if he's not, we have another guest who's going to help me bring him on. You know, he's one of my favorite people on the planet. And, you know, I make no secrets about how much I love Derrick Rutledge. Now, Gary, you see how fabulous Oprah Winfrey's face is all the time when she's on her magazine covers, isn't she beautiful? Well, This young man does her makeup, and he used to be Michelle Obama's makeup artist as well. And so let me bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friend, the very talented Derrick Rutledge.
I'm here.
You are there looking like $1 million.
But I don't see you. Where are you?
I'm here. We see you loud and clear.
I know,
I just
but
wanted you to meet Gary before Gary goes.
Oh, there we are. Hey,
There we
Gary.
are.
How are you?
Hey.
Oh, and now Gary's frozen.
I'm good.
He's
How you
frozen.
doing?
I'm wonderful.
Okay.
I was sitting here. I've been sitting here actually listening to your interview, and I was blown away by your credits. You work on some of my favorite shows, and then when I heard P Valley, I got even more. I started tingling even more.
Tingling.
I did. I really, because everybody kept trying to get me to watch it, and I really, I'm like, okay, I'll get to it. But then, oh my goodness.
And so then with that, Derrick fell out. Well, no. I think Gary can still hear us. And
I can hear. I'm
frozen.
Here. No, I'm here.
Okay, good. But I just wanted to say goodbye to Gary.
I am.
And
okay.
Thank you so much, Gary, for joining us. We're going to be watching you, and you're going to get a couple of new followers. Actually, everyone who's on this thread is probably going to follow you. Thanks so much, Gary. All the best to you.
Bye, Gary. Very nice meeting you.
Nice. Peace.
Peace. And vote. Absolutely. He's right about that. Derrick,
Now,
how are you doing, my love?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful.
You look so good. Look, you dressed up for me tonight.
I told you I was. You told me what you were wearing. I
did.
said, well, let me
I've got my
go through
little
my closet.
sparkles.
And then on
Yes,
top of that, we
we're
have
matching.
and then we have a stylist here.
We do have a stylist
You
here. So
know,
this
so
is
I'm
what I
not
want
gonna.
to do. This is what I want
Okay,
us to
what's
do.
that?
All right. So you're going to teach us all about the red lip and how
Yes.
to do it better. And, I'm a big fan, especially of Ruby Woo. I had to break that out. But you're going to teach us how to make a fabulous red lip. But before we do that, how
Okay.
about you and I both? I mean, I've been on shoots where you were my stylist, you did my hair, you did my makeup, you did everything. So this is not foreign to you at all.
Not at all.
And so I just figure maybe the two of us can talk with Elly together. You want to do that?
You don't understand when I saw the flyer that was advertising us, I read up on it and I was very excited
Good.
to meet him. I really was.
Well, then I'll take that as a yes.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is Steve Harvey's stylist and a whole lot more than that. I'm going to let him tell you his story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Elly Karamoh.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, wow.
How are
Hi,
you?
Elly. Good, welcome. You know what, for starters, do me a favor, pronounce that fabulous last name of yours for me.
Okay, my name is Elly Karamoh.
Thank you. I knew I was
Karamoh.
butchering it.
How are you
Karamoh,
guys
that's
doing?
beautiful. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, virtually. Thank you for having me.
Virtually, yes,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure. And Elly, this is Derrick Rutledge. I don't know if you two know each
Pleasure
other.
to meet you.
Derrick
He
is
doesn't
a
know me yet,
celebrity.
but I did send he doesn't know me yet, but I did send him a message in his DM. He just has to
Ah,
accept me.
I'll
He has
check.
to accept me in order to get it, but I did send you a DM this evening.
Okay, I'll check. Well,
so he
thank
can
you.
check.
Thank you guys for having me.
How are you doing?
For everything. Oh, I'm good. We just got off set.
Which set? Oh, with Steve Harvey.
I know.
Which
We
show?
just got off Family Feud in Atlanta. And
So nice.
so yeah, now I'm here.
So how is it these days? Everybody's social distancing, doing a live TV show like that. I mean, I'm so happy Steve is still working. Nothing has stopped, and that's a beautiful thing. But how is it in this climate?
Honestly, it's really, 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 really awesome, and we're also grateful to be working during this time. But it's really cool that we started in LA before COVID, and then obviously put a hold to everything, and then we started again, and now they have these new rules. It's COVID-19 rules, so Mr. Harvey is distant from everyone, but on camera it looks so personal, and just so natural.
Yeah, that's awesome. No one would ever know.
No,
And I was just gonna.
you can tell on camera.
This is a good thing. So Derrick Rutledge, celebrity makeup artist. He's Oprah Winfrey's makeup artist. He did
Iconic.
Obama. He's done so many people. And so Derrick is my co-host right now. Take it away, Derrick.
Okay. Elly, she made me her co-host, but when you do things like that, you have to do your homework. And I was blown away to see all the information, to read about the information I learned on you about the fact that you came here to the United States when you were 13 and you didn't know any English, but yet you learned by just watching the fashion stations. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so I'm from Paris, France, born and raised in Paris, France. I moved here, and I didn't speak any English, but I wanted to because I love to speak. I love to talk, and it really was a struggle for me because obviously you come from another country, you're just muted. So I did everything I could to watch Disney Channel a lot to make sure I could remove the formality of the books and the education I would learn. Yeah, so I came from France, and when I learned English, they put me in a program called ESOL. And the ESOL program educates foreign students to learn the language. Once I mastered it, I've always been infatuated with fashion. Growing up in Paris is everywhere.
Yes, it is.
Just because I was so isolated, because I didn't speak the language, I kind of just put myself in a bubble with Vogue and Elle magazine and everything. Just digitally, I just fell in love with it. It was like my friend, the friend that I didn't have. So then I just started to really formally educate myself on supermodels, on the photographers, on the runway seasons, on texture. Then from texture it led to me illustrating. And I just love styling. I just love what it did to the celebrity. I love the evolution of Rihanna. I love the evolution of a Kanye. I love the evolution of Princess Diana, of Bianca Jagger. I just love what and how they use fashion to develop the celebrity. And it's a phenomenon. To me, it's a phenomenon. It's a tool that most don't use properly, but once it is used properly, it could really do some magic.
And that's where you come in as a stylist. You show people how to use it properly. You got a big hello from Robert, salute from North Carolina. Kendrick Dickerson says hello. And it's hard just looking at your style and looking at some of the things that you do as a stylist. It's hard to believe that you are a millennial. You're 27 years old, and your style is classic, clean, like
Yes,
old
it is.
school.
Thank you
So
so much, guys.
when you're styling someone like a Steve Harvey, who, I think he's a lot older than you are.
Yeah.
But, what is it? What is it that you do to get his style and at the same time upgrade or update his style?
Well, what I personally did is learn who Mr. Harvey was outside of his accomplishments. I learned his code. I learned his aesthetic. I learned his DNA. So, and that's what this is where my love for fashion really helps, because I really take pride in educating myself. I look at myself as a student of fashion. And
Yes.
I feel like that when you style somebody this powerful and this iconic, there's a DNA that someone's attached to as a fan that no stylist or no one can remove. So what I've learned from Mr. Harvey, him being a '90s comedian, the king of comedy, the colors that he wore really stuck with me. The suits, the dimensions, but the colors were there.
Your face, you're like, well, but that's the thing though. I mean, it was his style, and he's amazing. He's amazing. But you brought him into a whole different level. I mean, right or wrong, that was his style. And to come in, that's got to be difficult, because with somebody's, that's their personal style. And so to say, let me help you do something else, that's what I mean. That's got to be so challenging.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's when someone is used to doing something for so long, and having someone so young redirect everything.
They have to trust you.
Yeah, and I felt like if I held back, I could be replaced. I feel like I was hired for a certain aesthetic. I was hired for what they saw I could do. And Mrs. Harvey, I got to give her the humble award, because she is the fashion queen in my eyes. She understands
she's amazing.
She understands fashion like no other. She's a chameleon. She understands the designers, the aesthetic, their vision. She wears it and she's not afraid of glamour. She's you know, she wears it, she lives it. For her to have seen my talent and my creativity, and for her to tell Mr. Harvey, give him a chance, give him a chance,
That's
give
so
him a
good.
chance. When I first got the first phone call, I didn't know what to do, and
I can imagine. You're like, wait a minute, the Steve Harvey?
yeah, I didn't really. I wanted it. I wanted it so
Yeah.
bad, but I didn't know if I was ready. And you know what? Mrs. Harvey told everyone. She said, "Watch what he's about to do."
Ooh.
And I didn't even know, honestly.
Oh my
But because I overheard her say that, I was like, I can't disappoint her.
Right. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful, right, Derek? My gosh. That's
But-
a
You
great
know,
story.
I've been sitting here listening to Elly, and he has a point. He's right. What happens is that we get stuck into a genre, what we think, what we want, what we've been looking like for so long,
Right.
that you get stuck there. And then, which is why I surround myself with young people, because I want them to take, and you know, I always have a lot of godchildren. I say that all the time. And what that does is they bring a fresh air, a bit of freshness to what it is you do. Because what Elly did say is that, you know, what he does is that he uses 20% of his runway, 50% of it is timeless, and then the other 30% he learns who the person is. And I like that, because by him listening to Steve and learning who he is, but yet throwing his knowledge of the runway in, then, you know, throwing the timeless looks he likes to put it, mix that together, he's put together a wonderful package, and which is why Steve gave it a chance, Marjorie
And it
gave you
looks
the opportunity,
amazing.
and because
Oh
of
my
that,
God.
you're going to be something that's going to have people wondering, who is the person that is now styling him? Who is this person that has made him, you know, taking him to the next level? Because that's what I'm trying to do, is take myself to the next, because I know my style, just like Angela knows her style. But it's always good to have someone fresh to come in and say,
Yes.
okay, I like what you're doing, but let's add a little bit of this. Let's add a little bit of touch of that, like you did with the green vest, and how you did when
The green vest, for some reason, that is the one that everyone is like, what happened to Steve Harvey?
Yes, I loved it. I mean, because
Listen.
you took a
Exactly.
solid black, you know, he took a solid black silhouette, and he added a punch of color to it. And when he went, because when he had the two things together, I'm like, well, that's a little bit too much. But then when he took the underpart off and just added the vest, I'm like, that's it. That's it right there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
That is the New Year's Eve Burberry Ricardo Tisci vest, right?
Yes.
That's beautiful. But you've got to know what you're doing, because that vest in the wrong hands could be.
Oh, for sure.
Oh. Yeah. You got to know
And
how
you
to
have
put it
to-
together.
I was
And
very
you have to
nervous.
be, yeah. I'm sorry.
What, Elly?
Go on.
I'm sorry.
I was very nervous New Year's Eve, because I don't know if you guys know, so I got hired in Africa.
No.
I got hired. I was in Atlanta one day. I got a text message from Mrs. Harvey, 3 a.m. Said, we need you in Africa, like at dinner. And
Okay.
yeah, so once that happened, I prayed about it. I got on a plane, led in Africa, clueless, and here I was. We wrapped Family Feud South Africa, and then when I came back, I got assigned to New York New Year's Eve, and in Africa we developed an aesthetic, but I kept everything to what he was used to in a way, but I pushed the limit just a little bit, and he was very open because it was a new audience, you know. But then when it was New Year's, I told myself, okay, we just spent 3 weeks in Africa. You were able to push the limit again. push it all the way down. Push it all the way down. So, Mr. Harvey had built a trust for me from Africa and sent me to Paris for 3 days before Christmas. And once I got to Paris, I just started making the phone calls. I called the food houses. I called and they were like, "Who?" About me, not about him. And I was like, just give me a chance. I just need this. We're doing ABC New Year's Eve. I only have like 48 hours in Paris. So I didn't want to ship it to Atlanta. I shipped it straight to the New York hotel, and it arrived. And it arrived in it was a 2-set coat. And I bought it in 2 colors. And I had all these coats. Mr. Harvey came, and I was still, I was comfortable with his presence. His presence is very intimidating. So when I had
his presence was intimidating. I bet it looked like it.
So I have racks of clothes, racks of coats. He's trying it on and not saying a word. He's just trying it on, and he's like, "Okay." Yeah, and everything he said no to, I put away for returns. And originally he said no to the green coat, and I kept it. And after his rehearsal, I set up his wardrobe room. It was just me and him. I put music on, and we just connected that moment, and we tried on several looks. And the direction was Steve Harvey would be wearing 2 looks, one for the whole show and one to do the midnight toast. And Mr. Harvey said, "Yeah, well, we don't have to just do 2 looks." And I was like, "Stop playing
now."
I was like, "Stop playing, hold on." I was like, "Are you willing to do 5 looks?"
I like how you just keep pushing. You're like, "Give me a little bit."
and he was like, "Let's build it up." And oh my gosh, you have to see the reaction and the response we were getting live from his personal team, from the audience, and he was just rejuvenated. I just felt like it. Just to me, he looked like the Black James Bond that night.
Ooh, right. So don't you find, and Derrick, when you're styling people and doing their makeup, don't you find that when people, they know they might not have ever looked like this before, but they see it and they kind of look a little, they walk a little different, stand a little taller.
They do.
Right, when you're styling them. And Derrick, do me a favor. I don't know if your phone is near your computer, but I'm getting messages for you to move your computer away from your phone because
I don't have a computer near my phone.
So you're just on the computer or just on the phone?
I'm just on the phone. I'm on the phone.
Okay. Well, it's just going to glitch a little.
What's happening? Because everything looks fine to me.
Yeah.
Everything looks fine to me too.
Everything was fine to me. Only person that I'm getting glitching is you, because I keep seeing you touching and moving your camera.
Me?
Yeah, you.
That's because I'm responding to them telling me to tell you to move your phone away from your computer. So I was trying to write. But anyway, it's good. That's housekeeping stuff. So Elly, let's just get back to the business at hand. I was also in doing my research about you going to all these fashion weeks in all these amazing cities. I've only gone to Fashion Week in New York, but can you just paint the picture for us? Like, what is Fashion Week like in Paris and Milan, and just the energy, and describe it as a stylist, just through your eyes?
Are you guys ready to dive in this moment?
Yes, take us on this journey.
Oh my God! So my official first Fashion Week in Paris was, and I say official because I'm so in love with fashion that I used to sneak in the show. So
you're like, this isn't really my first.
But I think my first official was 2014 or 15, and at that moment I was with Saks Fifth Avenue. I had like a contract with Saks Fifth Avenue. I was styling Monte Ellis and his wife, and you know me as a stylist, you usually get hired to do one birthday or one look, and they loved me, so they kept me on a retainer. And then I told them, I was like, well, this isn't it. You know, this isn't the only way to shop. I said, now if you wanna get to the big baller section, let's go. They were like, so how do we do it? I said, well, we must do New York, then we must do London, and after London, we gotta go to Milan and then in Paris. It's like, well, how do you do it? So contacted that girl at Saks, set it up with Saks, and boom. So I'll walk you through Paris Fashion Week because to me, it's the most phenomenal experience because just to know that I was the kid in the back, just watching the people walk and stuff, and now I'm in the shoes of saying hello to Mr. Ford or sitting down at a Riccardo Tisci show is just, I can't escape the idea that it was once a dream, you know? Yeah. But just flying into Paris, walking in Georges V, because Georges V is the hotel where you mostly want to stay when it's Paris Fashion Week. Georges V is the Parisian Four Seasons. Okay. And you walk in and immediately paparazzi and fans outside of the hotel. Everyone is staying there. It's flashes, it's Kendall Jenner, it's Gigi Hadid in the elevator, it's Marjorie Harvey, it's just a moment you can escape and baby, leave them sweats at home. Yes. It's an insane lineup of parties, jewelry shows, and couture. And you could have about seven shows a day. You can have 3 shows a day. It's up to you. The exclusive shows are invite only. Like the exclusive shows are Hermes. Exclusive shows Berluti. Louis Vuitton will have an exclusive show and it will be jewelry only. But walking into I walk you to the Chanel show, which is usually the last.
That's the one I want.
Yeah. So,
now you're talking.
Yeah. So Chanel is usually the last show of. You heard Mr. Harvey?
Oh, yes, he should come into the shot.
You want it? I think he's recording something.
Oh, okay. So you know what? And I love just this whole, I'm imagining that I'm there. But before we lose you tonight, we want some fashion tips for men.
Okay.
Fashion tips, just regular guys who want to look like they're wearing bespoke, or, just every day.
Okay. My favorite and most logic tip let me see if these lights can. My favorite tip, and it's the most logic, is tailor your clothes. Fit is so important.
Exactly.
A lot of people, fit is just the most vital part of menswear. A lot of praising and the applause I'm receiving is he looks so much better in a fitted suit. Because realistically, we modified its fit. But we went back to the Kings of Comedy vibrance and energy, and we removed the oversaturated, serious man look with the pocket square that matched and the tie-dye mask and the this and that. And European fashion is about simplicity. It's about using your presence and your attitude and your arrogance to just level your clothes up,
Wow, wait a minute. I love that.
Yes.
You said, and your arrogance.
That's the part I like.
Yes.
People have to feel your presence when you walk into a room. They want to feel, you have to walk in the room like I am you got to walk in like that, right?
That's it.
Command.
Don't use your tie or your pocket squares or your how we say in French is accoutrement, which is your all your clothes to take over the energy. You know, you walk in the room, say I'm wearing a black t-shirt, black pants, and black shoes, I must own the room.
Yeah.
How so? It could be my fit. It could be all black, but it might be all croc. It could be all black, but the fit might be spectacular. It's not all about the clothes, but it's all about the clothes.
I love that.
You know?
And that's great. And so I'm going to let Derrick ask you about, you can talk about the female. That's good. That's good for the men.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure. Well, being that he's with Marjorie, and you know, I've been following Marjorie for years, and she is always impeccably. I mean, you see her in every show. Every time you see her doing any fashion week,
She's
and
amazing.
she's always
And following
impeccably
her.
dressed.
But for the people who are watching, you know, this is for them. And so people want to get advice from you, you know, just like, you know, we gave some good tips for men, and that was really good. I love that. It's just no matter what, I guess what you're saying is wear the clothes, don't let the clothes wear you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, along those lines, for women, what do you say?
You know, one tool that I can say for women is specifically when you're at Fashion Week, because it's all about who's going to win the show. It's reinvention is key. You know, always surprise us. Whether it's the hair, the makeup, the clothes. You come in one moment in a silk black gown, the next moment you're in a tuxedo. The next moment your hair is cut. The next moment you're more urban. Always occupy a new category. And that's kind of the tool I'm using for Mr. Harvey too, because we switched it up for the talk shows.
So, but you said, if I could just for clarity, you said always
occupy a new category.
Okay.
Constantly surprise them.
Always
good.
Constantly surprise. Just surprise after
Don't just
surprise.
have the same look, predictable look every time.
Don't let people tell you that you're predictable.
That's
Don't let them sit in their comfort, expect you. Oh, I know what he's about to wear. This is a Elly item. No, well, you don't know what's coming next.
Right. You don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
You may think you know, but you don't know.
You don't know. You know, and that's the same thing with I can't have a favorite designer because I don't have a favorite aesthetic. And
right.
A designer comes with a specific aesthetic. I don't want to wear black and white or tweed all the time. I don't have a contract with Chanel, you know.
Right.
I don't always want to wear, you know, just you have to really understand fashion and understand that it's a painting and understand that you must occupy different spaces, you know. Yeah. That is what a fashion icon is. When I look up, because I'm really inspired by the 40s and the 60s, because I feel like that's when men really dressed. And I feel like from just the picture, I can tell the era or what they were going through at that time. You know,
beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's sophisticated. It's elegant, and it's
timeless.
Yeah. Oh, it's just some of the most beautiful eras to me are 20s, 40s, and 60s.
Yes,
I agree.
To me, this is when men worked. The men dressed. Men could not go anywhere without dressing, you know.
No.
And they created a personality for themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And it like Sammy Davis Jr. to me is phenomenal. I mentioned earlier for women, Bianca Jagger, phenomenal, untouchable. Princess Diana, untouchable. James Brown, untouchable. You know, the Beatles. I love the aesthetic as well. And all of these to me are codes and DNA that I've learned to modernize.
So when's the book coming out, Elly?
tomorrow.
You know, this is so amazing. We could talk to you all night. I know you're working there. So appreciate you spending this
Thank
time.
you for having me. I'm really grateful for you guys giving me a time and a platform to talk to me.
Yes.
I wish I could be dressed a little bit more like.
You look fantastic. Listen, you don't even need it. You're wearing the clothes. They are
You're
not
wearing right.
you.
even though you at work, you came in and you gave us attitude with what you're wearing.
And we were kind of hoping that you could walk in where Steve Harvey is, but what happened? He's busy.
Let me see. You want me to see?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah,
I'll talk to
grab
Derek
the
while you
phone.
go get him.
Okay, let me see one second.
All right. Boy, that's awesome. Yeah, this is good stuff, Derek. You're
It's
a
very
great
good
co-host
stuff.
today.
Well, I did my homework. I read a lot of content. I even watched some of his videos.
See, you're ready. You are ready.
I'm always ready.
And
I
he's
always
such
do
a
my
great
homework.
guest. I love his story. I love his story.
Yes, I do.
love it.
That's why I didn't. That's why I said, I'm here all the time. We're friends. Let's bring somebody in that we never get to see.
Yes, Elly.
And
He's still recording.
He's still
okay.
recording. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Elly, thank you. You're fabulous. We will hopefully have you back again on the show.
I would love to.
Yeah? Really appreciate what you do. And that French accent, yes, you got to bring that accent.
Thank you.
God bless you. Oh, and I started following you. I know Derek is already following you, but for those who want to follow you, how can they connect?
My Instagram is ELLY30. My name is Elly30.
It's easy. Just Elly. Find Elly. And you'll know it's him by all the high fashion on his page. Elly, thank you so much. Good night. Thank you for being with us.
Take care, Elly. It's wonderful meeting you. It really is.
Thank you for having me again. I love y'all.
Love
Thank
you
for
too.
supporting me. I'm very, very grateful for you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're all going to be looking even better. You know, next time you see us, we're going to be a little more arrogant.
Surprise me. Yes, use the arrogance. Use it.
Yes, use your arrogance. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Wow, that was fantastic, Derek.
It really
That
was.
pretty
It really was.
That was
It really
fun.
was. It did. Yes, it
I
was.
love the advice he gave to men and women. And it's got to be hard, you know. I mean, sometimes when you are approaching a new client and you don't, quite know how married they are to their own style, and then to try to gently, get them away from that. But I like how he said, he just studied him first. He just got to know him.
Right. Well, I love the fact that he also worked with some other icons that we know, such as Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
He works with Samuel Jackson as well. Steve, besides Steve, Gucci Mane.
Ice-T in there, Gucci Mane.
Right, Gucci Mane. So he's worked with some really good people and styled some really good people that all have a different flair for how they like to dress.
Totally and completely different.
Right.
Excuse me, different styles. So, Derek, I like how you work with people as well. And, when it comes to makeup, you have taught anyone who's paying attention. And if you're fortunate enough for Derek to do your makeup, you should pay attention. I mean, when you're doing mine, I used to do my makeup every day, and I would watch you like a hawk. And, what was so cool is that you were always so generous with the information. Like you'd say, I'm doing this because of that. I'm doing this because of that. And we talked about the red lip.
Yes, we have.
Right?
Which is actually, a red lip is timeless, first of all. It is timeless. It's all what they do every, Pantone comes out with what the trend is, what the color is every season, which is why during Fashion Week in February, they tell you what the fall trends are going to be. Like right now, when we're having Fashion Week in Paris, Milan, New York, virtually, but they're predicting what the colors are going to be for next spring and summer. So because I knew that the colors for the fall, because I know them, I try to keep the colors that I'm going to put on my clients' faces, or I try to lean them towards the colors in the Pantones in their clothing. And then I want the makeup to complement that. And red is one of those colors that is always timeless. It's just that they either add more blue to it, or add a little yellow to it, or they add a little brown to it. So it's always a color that is, red is never going to go anywhere. It's just all in how they play with it.
So
And
is it with red lipstick? Is
uh-huh.
it the kind of thing where there are trends of red, like, or a certain type of year, or do you just go with whatever mood you're in and what you're wearing?
Well, they it's all a way. If you remember in Devil Wears Prada, when the girl said, when she said cerulean, and she said it's a blue belt, and she said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's a blue belt. And she said, it's the blue belt. No, actually, it was a blue belt. Yeah, she went through that entire thing of how
Yes.
that blue belt ended up being a belt that you would wear, and it trickled down from high fashion all the way to Walmart, basically.
Right. I was
So
going to say Target, but yeah.
right. Walmart, Target, it trickles down like that. Same way it does with when they're predicting what the colors are going to be for makeup, especially
Okay.
lipstick and things like that. And like I said, red is one of those colors that is always going to be there. It's just what the color of red is supposed to be for that season, which is, and the thing about me is that even though I know that the trend is supposed to be a certain color, that color does not always work on everyone's skin tone. So you have to know what works. If you're yellow tone, you need to know that something that it's got more blue in it will work with you. You just have to know your undertones and what looks good on you. And then you have to also, depends on if you're very light, if you're very fair skin, or if you're very dark, because certain reds on dark skinned women end up looking sallow. They don't, they end up being not rich enough. You have to think richness as the darker your skin tone is, the more richer the color is. And that's where sometimes you have to add maybe two different shades. Like when I do lipstick, I like to blend 2 or 3 different colors. I will start with maybe a brown pencil to line the lip, and then I'll go over that with a red, either a blue red or an orange red, depending on the person's skin tone. And then
You'd go over where you've lined it.
Yes, with the lipstick, and then I would take my brush and I will drag the lipstick towards the center of the lip. Now I can do that and keep it just like that, and then have the person to blot. And after they blot, just put some gloss over it, and that keeps the look
pretty.
It keeps the lip defined but yet sheer. Now, if you want to go for more drama, then what you would do is you would do the same thing, line the lip, but then you use a liquid to matte. And what I like about the liquid to matte is that it gives a very rich color, and then also it will last you forever, because once you put it on, you let the liquid dry, it gives a matte finish, but it lasts forever. But a lot of times what people don't understand is that as you get older, what ends up happening is that you start losing the fat in your lip, and then what ends up happening is that the liquid to matte ends up making the lips dry or dry looking, and it makes the lines stand out. So what you need to do is go with the liquid to matte for the wearability, but then go and use something like a satin lipstick over top of it, or even a gloss over top of it, so that it makes the lips look a little more plumper.
You've said that before, that, if you're older, you don't necessarily want to go with just the matte.
Yes, you can go with the matte. Just go over with something that's, that gives it some pop, some sheen. I usually leave the matte, the liquid to matte, for the younger generation, only because their lips they're fuller. Unless you're going to go and you're going to get some filler put in your lip, but it does make them plumper. But as we get older,
the matte you want.
right?
Yeah.
Because as you get older, your lips start drawing in, and so you start seeing the lines more, which is why a lot of women, have that trick where they line outside the lip in order to make the lips appear larger. And then
what do you think about that? Because
I love that.
Because a lot of people just go inside. Yeah, because I've seen it look really crazy.
I've seen it look crazy too. You have to know how to do it. You have to line with the brown, because
So you line with the brown, on that line or over that
Right.
line?
Well, it depends on how full you want the lip. You can line on the line, or you can line up right over the line with the brown. But then once you do it, you have to smudge the line so it doesn't
Because you
look
don't
like
want that brown just
you don't
sitting
want
there.
right. And you have to choose the brown according to your skin tone. You can't use a dark brown because you're lucky you got your ring around the lip. You have to use a brown that complements your skin tone. And then once you do that, and then you blend that in, then you go over it with, say, a dark blue-red lipstick or blue-red pencil, and then drag that in towards the center of the lip. You drag it in towards the center of the lip. Then once that's done, then go over with, like I said, either a lipstick or a lip gloss or your liquid to matte. So it all depends on what the effect is. For daytime, if you're working in an office or you're working somewhere where there's going to be lots of fluorescent light, you want to keep it sheer. For evening, the sky's the limit. You can make it as rich as you want. You can put gloss on it. You can put glitter in it. You can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want,
And
yeah.
it makes
I
it
have a
very
question.
festive. Yes.
And I love this information, Derek. This is so good. And I'm going to experiment a little bit when we finish. But when you say, okay, so you say use a brown that's complementary to your skin. So you want to go just a little bit darker because you don't want it to totally match your skin tone, like a little bit darker
A little
than
bit
your
darker,
complexion.
yes.
And
Right.
then so you line them and then you put the red pencil. When you say drag it in, do you mean with a lip
with
brush?
your brush. My makeup's
Oh,
over there across the room, but you take a brush. Oh, do I have a brush over here? Yes, I have a brush right here. Isn't it something? I just happen to have a brush right here because I'm sitting here doing. You take it and you drag it into the lip. You brush it in and then you drag it towards the center of the lip, all the way
mm-hmm.
around. You're dragging it into the center of the lip, and because what that's doing is softening the line. You want to
Yeah.
soften the line. And
Nice. Very nice.
and and what's funny about talking about the red lip, Angela, is that that with my new platform, Correcting Your Presence, I'm going to be teaching women how to do these things.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yes, I'm
I
going to be
was
teaching
looking
them.
at your IG page, Perfecting Your Presence. It's
Yes.
fantastic.
Well, I
I'm
appreciate that.
excited.
If you've been noticing, everything is following that red tone right now because
Mm-hmm.
that's the first color that I'm introducing in the first color of the Pantones that I'm introducing. So on Monday, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go live and I'm going to be playing with all different shades of red,
Ooh,
all
nice.
different shades of red lipsticks, and I'm going to show just how to apply red lip. And guess who the model is going to be?
I give up. You.
Yours truly.
Okay. I knew you were going to say that. Well, who better?
Who better to teach
when
it?
is this going to be?
It's going to be Monday on my IG page. As a matter of fact, once I get off of here, I'm going to be changing clothes. You know, I'm good for changing clothes. Well, because I always got to do a promo somewhere. So
I love it. I'm here.
You know,
for
and
it
I'm going to be promoting how to do this red lip because a lot of women would like to know how to do a red lip and how to do it properly. And so I'm going to be teaching them.
You were
Yes.
saying earlier that, oftentimes you like to use more than one color. And that's something I'd like to just explore a little bit more because I've seen it and it looks great, but, how do you really do it? How are you supposed
No, but
to do
that's
that?
true because see,
You don't just
Oprah
like put a color on and then put another
right.
color on and then put it
And the
right.
reason why I
There's a
say that
way.
because it should go from light to dark. The center of your lip should be the lightest, and that can be either with a lighter color or it can be with a gloss or with, but it should be what it does, it gives the lip dimension. So when you're fair skinned, you can go with one solid color. And also it depends on your lip shape, like I said. But what I normally do is I line the lip, like I said, with the brown. Then I will, drag it in, go with a red pencil, and then I would a lot of times go with a blue-red lipstick or liquid to matte around that entire line.
Nice.
And then I would take that while it's wet and drag it towards the center of the lip. Then once it dries, go into the center with an orange red. And those two colors, because what it does is it gives light, it gives more dimension into with the lip if you use something lighter in the center. So if you want to keep it totally red, then what I'll do is I'll use a orangey red for the center. Let that dry, and depending on what kind of pizzazz you want to give it, you can add some gold to it. You can add a little touch of just a dot of white and blend that in, which gives more dimension to the lip. And then you can stop there, or you can go in and you can just put your lip gloss. Like I have some really beautiful, like this beautiful red good lip gloss by Christian Dior is really pretty, and it's a liquid glass. It's like it goes on.
I always love their packaging as well.
Yes.
You know, okay, so here we are, you know, we're in autumn and it's about to get colder. Oftentimes the lips take a hit. You get chapped lips and all that stuff. Before you put any lipstick on, your lips can't be dry. So so what do you do? What do you recommend we do to keep our lips?
What I normally do is I tell someone, first of all, just like you exfoliate your face, you have to exfoliate your lips, which is take some of your exfoliant, thin it out a little bit, and then literally rub it all over your lips. Because what it does, it takes all that dead skin off the lips. And then I normally use either the Kiehl's lip balm right over top of it, or I'll use Carmex. And I usually, if I'm doing a face, I put that on right after I make sure the face is moisturized and cleansed. I put that on while I'm doing the entire face. Once the face is complete, I take a tissue, I have the person open their mouth up, I have them to hold the tissue there, and I just, while the tissue is in their mouth, just wipe all that excess Carmex off, which, you know, then by this time their lips have been
nice
and plump. And then I go, you know, I work my magic from there with the pencils and the lipsticks and the lip glosses, and, you know, depends on what it is. But if I'm going to do a red lip, a lot of times what I do is I keep the eye because red is commanding. It commands attention. It needs to be the boldest thing on your face. Yeah. And because of that, you don't want to have all this garish eye makeup on, and then the red lip, because it ends up being too much.
Yeah. And typically when I wear red, I would have not put any shadow at all. I did.
Or if you
do
shadow,
just
keep it neutrals. You know, you do your browns, and then make sure you pop the eyes with black mascara and wear a beautiful Perfecting Your Presence lash that's coming out.
There you go. I love that. But you're right, though. It should be one or the other, right?
You're right. It should be one or the other.
Or lips popping.
Right. It's either the eyes or the lips. Now, you can still do a smoky eye, because a lot of people do like a smoky eye. You can still do a smoky eye with a red lip. Just keep the smoky eye in the neutral, in the browns, and then make the eyes pop with a black liner, black mascara.
I did that. I did it with a brown, but I think the brown might be too dark. Right?
The brown is too dark.
Brown. It should be the brown that I have on my lid. I should have done a lighter, right? Like typically, if I'm like, you know, going out somewhere, I have a dark brown. Can you see it?
Okay, let me do this. Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
Thank you. But with a red lip, it should be a little lighter, right?
No, not really, because what happens is you still kept it in the brown family. You still kept everything brown in the browns, and all you did was you intensified the liner, and which, you know, and I have no problem with that. I'm talking about if someone literally
goes all out with the eyes.
Well, yeah, if they, because, you know, and it depends on the eye. You can do the cookie cutter eye. You can do any type of eye. Just keep everything in the browns and let the lip do the talking.
I love it. Any last words on the lips? I mean, you know, again, we're approaching holiday season. We want them to be fabulous.
We want them to be fabulous, and then, well, not really. They can just come on over to Perfecting Your Presence and watch the tutorial on how to do it. But then, you know, just keep, you know, like I said, when it comes to a red lip, make the lip be the focus of the face. Keep everything softer and neutral, and then you got it. And then see what else is in store with the Pantones, because there's some other beautiful, rich colors that are beautiful for the fall into the winter season.
I love it. It's my
I mean,
favorite season. You get to
yes,
dress
because
up.
you get to dress up. You get to go
Yes.
heavier
Layers.
layers, and you can go heavier with the makeup, and
Yeah.
you can do a really, really nice, rich eye,
Yeah.
and then do a subtle lip.
Yeah.
You still want to keep it within the same color family, but just a subtle lip, because the
love it.
burgundy is a really beautiful burgundy. That's one of the colors, Pantone colors for the fall as well. And I love a rich burgundy lip.
That's
It's
so
all in
pretty.
how you do it, and even you can even make it really dark and vampy. You know how they do that dark vampy with burgundy? It's like a dark burgundy brown that looks like it has a little black in it,
Yeah,
which
that's a
can be
beautiful.
pretty.
But you need to layer it a little bit, don't you? Or
You
no?
Yeah, well you do, but if you're gonna do that, like I said, you got to keep the eye clean. Maybe just liner and mascara and a good brow. A good brow always. You need a good brow no matter what you do. You always
No
need a
matter
good
what.
brow.
Yeah.
No matter what, you
Your
need a good
frame.
brows are always going to have to, because they frame the face. So you need a good brow. But
Derrick, you're the best. You
well,
are.
I try. I really do try
No,
to
you
be
just really
good at what
are.
I do, and then I'm
Yeah.
very passionate about what I do.
Yes, and I
You
love
know,
that about you. So, all right, tell everyone once again, you're perfecting your presence. This is where they
perfecting your
can connect
presence.
with you.
That's where they will be able to connect with me when it comes to the beauty, and of course, Derrick for makeup is where I am on my life through beauty. Like last week when I was with Vanessa Williams all week, I told about my weekend at the Kennedy Center with her. So I put that on the Derrick for Makeup page, but it got so many good comments that I put it on my Perfecting Your Presence page as well. But
Oh, I love it.
on Monday, I'm going to do a live tutorial, moi
It's
as a
going to be
model,
amazing. He's going to be
and
wearing some red lipstick. Oh, but wait, I need to shout out Joyce. She just said something. She is here. She was
yes,
my Uber driver. Hi,
really,
Joyce. Oh my gosh, I remember you. I see your face. I remember you. Yeah, she's awesome. Oh, see now, Joyce. Thanks for watching. Now you know how to hook up
thanks for
those
watching,
fabulous
Joyce.
lips. Thank you so much for watching. And Derrick, thank you so much. You are amazing. You
Always
know how
happy to
much
be
I
here.
love you.
Always happy to be here with you to talk about anything and everything,
I
because
love
that's what we
it.
do. We
That's
do on a
what we
regular
do.
basis. We
We
talk about
do on the
anything
regular.
and
Yes, we
everything.
do. So I'm glad
Anything
we
and
went
everything.
public. I love it.
I
So
love it as well.
I'm going to text you a little bit later on tonight. So do
Okay,
what you
sounds
do.
good.
We're going to find you perfecting your presence. And and it's also Derrick for Makeup on IG,
Derrick,
actually on all platforms.
the number 4, MKUP. And you can't miss it, because if you put in my name, Derrick,
It comes
spelled
up.
DERRICK, and the number 4, you're going to see a blue check. So it's going to be easy to find.
Are you bragging about your blue check?
No,
I think
it
you are
makes
a
it
little bit.
easier. No, no, it
He
just
said,
makes it
just look for
easier
the
to
blue
find.
check, darling. All right with your blue check.
I worked hard to
Thank
get
you
that.
so much, my love.
Thank you. I love you as well.
Love you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, what a great night. HUR at home. This was pretty action-packed, right? I mean, we had Gary Lennon. I am such a Power fan. And now I have to look at his other shows. We had Elly, I know you told me how to say it, Karamoh. I think that's right. Karamoh. No, Karamoh. Anyway, you just know him as Steve Harvey Stylist, along with other people. And of course, the one and only Derrick Rutledge. I'm Angela Stribling. It's been such a pleasure being here with you tonight. HUR at home, we're always bringing something. Like tomorrow night, I hope you join me right here, same place, starting at 9 o'clock. And I'm going to be joined by Stokely. Tell all your friends about it, and I'll meet you right here. Make sure you're always listening. We are number 1, WHUR, your favorite station. Thanks for keeping us number 1. We love you for that. I'm Angela Stribling. Have a great night.